Hi, welcome. This is going to be a yoga practice for self-care and also for mindfulness because these two pieces really go hand in hand. It's super hard to take care of ourselves if we don't actually know what we need. So that mindfulness component gives us some insight to how we're feeling, and those sensations, that awareness hopefully can inform the choices that we make around how we take care of ourselves. So one really great definition of yoga is skill in action, and skillfully meeting your needs is a way to set up a really solid self care practice. Um, when we talk about self care, all I really mean is your basic physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual needs, and we all have them. Um, and finding ways to meet those needs that speak to your authentic self is one of the most satisfying skills in the world. It takes work to cultivate it. I am a huge work in process. So, in progress, rather, huge work in progress. Um, and so, I really invite you to come to this practice with an open heart and an open mind, and really just be open and available to yourself. So, a few things that you might want for this practice. I always like to have really comfortable clothes on when I'm doing a more restorative yoga class like this. So, if you're wearing something tight that you're not going to be super comfortable in, go change. Also, I like to use a big plush blanket instead of my mat. So once we are on the mats, I'll have to boot Sasha off, but I'm gonna lay this blanket down instead of the mat on the hardwood floor. Totally optional. Another thing that's nice, we are gonna do a little bit of self-massage. Don't be too freaked out before we get going, but we're gonna do a little bit of pressure point massage through the feet. So if you have lotion that you like or essential oils that really help create that kind of calm and connected. I really think the sense of smell can be very powerful at bringing you into the moment. We do know this, like the olfactory senses are most strongly associated with memory. And so there's something really just helps to integrate the pieces sometimes. So if you have something like lavender, that's one of the most classical kind of relaxing aromas, whatever really resonates for you. Grab whatever you want. Don't need to add anything besides just you being right here. And then meet me in your choice of an opening shape. So I'm going to start in a seated meditation. If you're familiar with the Sukhasana and you like kind of getting grounded upright in a seat, great, meet me there. Otherwise, you can lie onto your back or lie onto your belly. Equally great choices. And especially if you're feeling physically a little bit meh, laying down onto your back or your belly can be a really nice way to support yourself in landing. So, this is a great practice if you don't feel your best at any level: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. It's a beautiful practice to bring some stability into all of those layers of the self. All right, meet me where you're going to meet me, seated or lying down. Take a moment to kind of settle into your body, and then let the eyes blink down. With the eyes closed, make a mental note of the space that you're practicing in. I like to see this space as a container for this sacred yoga practice, right? So it's this surrounding that I have, like the shell of the room that I'm practicing in. So the floor beneath you, the roof above you, and the walls that are surrounding you here. See if you can feel into the space between your body and the walls, the floor, and the roof. If you happen to be practicing outside, amazing. See if you can just feel, yeah, maybe a few feet in every direction away from your body. Just sense the space around you. Also worthwhile to make a note if you're sharing your space with other humans or other creatures like me, and just inviting that awareness of everything in your environment. And then shifting your awareness inside. So start to notice the energy in your own body without any judgment. So it's just this curious inquiry. How are you feeling? Notice how the breath is moving through the body, the sensations of the inhale and the exhale. And then just a global awareness of your physical being, noticing any spaces of sensation in the body itself. Perhaps you have a little bit of a tension somewhere in the shoulders or the neck or the hips or elsewhere. And perhaps there's pockets of discomfort or even pain. And just being available to noticing whatever is here in your physical body. And just as there may be pockets of discomfort, you might also sense into parts of the physical body that feel spacious, that feel at ease. And then take a deep breath in. As you exhale, see if you can move your awareness deeper into your mental and emotional body, right? The part of you that has moods, that has an emotional tone, the thinking part of you, the mind, and then being really available and receptive to whatever's been going on for you over the last week, day. So perhaps there's been a dominant mood or moods. Maybe there's been a theme to the thought patterns themselves. Perhaps there's something that is weighing really heavy on your heart or your mind, or both. And then committing to, while you're on your mat, while you're in this practice for today, really committing to welcoming every aspect of yourself. Committing to welcoming the parts of you that are really easy to take care of, the parts of you that are very easy to love, but then also staying very open to holding space for the parts of you that are a little bit more difficult, right? The spaces where maybe there's a little bit of shame or embarrassment or regret or denial. Part of being human is having multiple facets, maybe arguably even infinite pieces that make up the self. When we're talking about authentic self care, it is vital that we acknowledge and welcome all of those pieces. It gives us a chance to skillfully respond to our varied needs. And take a couple breaths as best as you can, inviting all of those pieces of yourself. And perhaps even working with a mantra, every part of myself is welcome here. And then if you're not already on your back, meet me there. Blink your eyes open. Maybe keep the eyes soft. So throughout the practice, I'm going to unfold my blanket onto my mat here. But throughout your practice, feel free to keep the eyes closed down as much as possible, especially if you're a really visual person, to keep the awareness inside. Go ahead and roll out onto the back with the knees bent, the feet down. Pause for a moment. Shimmy your shoulders a little closer together underneath your chest. You can bring a palm to your core and a palm to your heart if that feels right. And just connect in. And start to breathe a little bit smoother breath. So a breath that helps you connect to your body here. And then stretch your fingertips out on the mat toward your heels. The arms are stretching gently. You're going to take a breath in as you reach the arms up, and then keep stretching the arms back over your head. On your exhale, bring the hands back to the starting point. So coming through that big range of motion. Slow, steady breaths here. Inhaling to lift the arms up and stretch them back overhead. Exhaling, slowly bringing the arms back up and then down toward your sides. Take a couple rounds on your own. See how smooth and perhaps slow you can make this motion. I'm trying to sync the breath up to the movement of the arm in the shoulder, feeling that space where the upper arm bone is rotating through that shoulder socket. A couple more here. And then the next time your arms are back over your head, pause and feel into that stretch, breathe into it. And then exhale your right knee in toward your chest. You can catch hold of the knee with the hands, interlace the fingers around the right knee, pause there and breathe. I'm gonna keep my left foot down on the mat. If you want, you can start to play with stretching the left leg out. And then interlace your hands behind the right knee as you extend your right leg up toward the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. And then feel what you feel in the right leg. So notice what you feel through the stretch, through the lift. If it feels good to bring a little bit of movement into the top ankle or the top foot, by all means, you can play with that. And then also, if it feels better to hold the legs still, sometimes there's more integration in just a still moment in a stretch, and you really feel just the subtle movement of the breath. There's not a right or a wrong. See if you can match what you're doing with what you feel you're needing. A couple more deep breaths without forcing anything. Start to draw the hands up and the leg down. So it's moving the clasp up your right calf a little bit toward the ankle. And then we're going to set up a figure four, bringing the right ankle over the top of the left thigh. So if your left leg was long, step the left foot back in. Pause there for a moment. Maybe bring a little bit of kind of softness into the right knee and the right hip. I like to kind of bounce the leg out away from the body a bit. So we're really targeting the joint capsules and the connective tissue in these stretches. This feels like plenty. You want to keep the head and the neck and the shoulders relaxed. You can keep the left foot down. If you can maintain that sense of ease through the upper body and then reach behind the left thigh and clasp with your fingers, go for it. Keep the feet relaxed unless you need a little bit more stability through the knees, and then you can flex the feet. If you feel anything twingy in the knees, you want to keep the feet a little active. If not, go ahead and really let the feet relax here. We're going to deepen this stretch itself. We're going to come into something called shoelace pose. Slide the right knee all the way on top of the left, and then reach your hands for your knees. Gently draw the knees in toward the chest. Pause there. You feel a good stretch probably through the outer edges of both of your hips. If you want to play with intensifying the stretch a little bit, you can walk your hands to the shins, maybe catch the feet. Do your very best to meet your body exactly where it's at. A lot of us are used to forcing things or having some arbitrary goal about how deep the pose goes. See if you can deepen the pose just by deepening your awareness, especially if you're prone to overdoing it. Sometimes we think when there's a tension in the body, a tightness, what we need is to stretch it deeper and deeper and deeper. And what I've actually found over my years of practice and talking to other people who do a lot of yoga, sometimes the more you stretch something, the more it stays hurt. So see if you can find that sweet spot where it's just enough sensation, where it becomes therapeutic for the body instead of injurious. And then you're going to step the left foot down just so that you can press into the left foot, lift the hips and move them a little bit to the right. And draw the knees back in toward the chest. We're taking a twist. So guide your knees to the left. Reach your right arm out to the right. Take a big breath in. And then keep extending through the right fingertips as you nod your chin to the right. Pause and breathe into the twist here. Notice if you can send a little bit of the breath and the prana down into the belly. So sometimes in the twist, we get kind of chesty with the breath. And the deeper you can move the breath, the more you can activate the twist through the lower body. So the bottom of the lungs, the lower back, the organs low in the abdomen. And then slow and steady, come back through the center. Step the feet wide to the edges of your yoga mat. Turn your toes in a little bit and then let the knees drop together. And pause and just feel into the lower back. Take a moment to take some deep breaths here with whatever you're aware of in your body. And then before we move on to the other side, bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees part. So we're coming into Baddha Konasana. We're actually sealing the feet together, so connecting the feet together here. Take a moment to feel the connection between the soles of the feet, the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere, the right lower leg and those channels of energy, as well as the left leg and those channels of energy. And then slowly use your fingers to guide the knees back in. We're going to check back in with the shoulders before we move into the other side. So we'll do 3 of those shoulder rotations. Arms come up overhead on a deep breath in. And then exhale as the fingers reach up and then back down toward the sides of the body. 2 more. On the third one, we'll bring the left knee into the chest. Catching hold of the knee when you're ready, pausing there, noticing what you feel in the left side of your lower back, the left hip flexor, and then welcoming the sensations in the body, interlacing behind the left leg. And instead of trying to repeat exactly what you did on the other side, see if you can avoid getting caught in that trap of needing things to be symmetrical and really honor what you feel. So for me, my left leg, the range of motion here is, maybe it might be the same if I forced it, but it doesn't feel right to go as deep on the left. Wherever you feel the meaningful sensation and stretch. And then same thing, if instinctually you want to rotate the ankle or wiggle your toes, honor that. Again, if you feel more of this integration of your awareness, just holding the legs still, that's beautiful as well. So the best yoga pose is the one that is most accurately and authentically representing your own energy, the one that honors your own body. We're going to set up a figure 4. If you want to deepen the hamstring stretch, like I said, for me on this side, that's not a thing. When you're ready, slide the left foot to the top of the right thigh. Let the left hip and the left knee get really loose here for a moment. So you could even imagine those joints, like the knee and the hip, 2 of the most complicated joints in the body. Just bringing that mind-body awareness. So sensing into your knee, sensing into the left hip, and then reaching between for the right thigh, draw the leg in. Being really mindful of how that affects the stretch. So if it turns it into something more intense than feels advisable in this moment, honor your body and step the right foot back down. I like to remind myself that there's no prize for a certain range of motion. There's no prize for a certain version of the pose. The real prize is just the sensation and being present in the moment with your body and knowing that you're taking care of it. Preparing for that shoelace stretch, left knee all the way over the right knee. Catch the knees with the hands, or perhaps walk your hands down the shins or even to the feet or the ankles. As much as you can, wherever you've caught hold on the legs, keep the head and the neck relaxed. The shoulders be heavy. Let the skin across the forehead be soft. The sides of the neck. Notice if the breath is staying in the chest. See if you can very gently encourage it a little bit deeper. So breathing down into the bottom of your lungs, letting the chest expand. And then those long, slow exhales, calming the nervous system. Step the right foot down just so that you can lift the hips and shift them to the left. So that'll help align the spine as we come into the twist. And then draw the knees into the chest a little bit. Guide the knees to the right. Extend the left arm. Take a deep breath in. And then exhale as you nod your chin to the left. Breathe. So the smooth, steady breath here, maybe lengthening the exhales a little bit longer. So exaggerating that out breath can be a really powerful way to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, so the part of the nervous system that helps us repair and digest and restore. We call it the rest and digest side. And gently coming back through the center. Untangling the knees. Once more, walk the feet wide, let the knees drop in, bring your palms to your body somewhere and breathe, observing what you feel. And stay here for another moment or so with your hands on your body, especially if you can bring a palm to the belly. See if you can use the palms for some biofeedback, just to feel the belly expand as you breathe in. And the belly soften and fall as you breathe out. Two more like that. Inhale, fill up the belly, the chest. As you exhale, let the belly draw in gently. One more, even deeper. Breathe in, let the belly expand like you're filling up a balloon, the chest expand, the collarbones lift. And then this time, go ahead and open your mouth. Sighing the breath out. Bring the feet and the knees together. Roll to one side or the other. Pause in the fetal position for a moment before we move on. So just taking a moment to really invite all of those stretches through the pelvis and the hips to settle into the body in a way that'll be meaningful. And then gently press yourself up to a seat. Once you're upright, take a moment to get your bearings again. And then I'm going to sit cross-legged with my right foot in front. And it'll work out well if you bring your right foot in front as well. So as we move on, we can kind of stay on the same side. Not a big deal if that's not how it works out. Inhale and reach your arms up over your head. Exhale and flip the palms up toward the ceiling or the sky. So you can get a good stretch here through the spine. So really try and lengthen, root down through your sit bones, lift up through the crown of the head. The navel center is gently coming inward, so that might help you kind of feel a little bit of space through the lower back, through the muscles that support the side of your spine on the low back. Sometimes you can get a lot of pain there if there's a lot of sitting going on. One more deep breath in, really stretching through the wrists and the palms. And then as you exhale, you're going to take a twist to the right, bringing your left hand to the right knee and the right hand back behind you. Lift your chest gently as you breathe in, and then find a little bit of a rotation as you exhale, looking out over your right shoulder. I'm smiling because I look back and Honey's on her heating pad there. The dogs are great Shavasana models. Come back to the center on the inhale. Press the palms up. And then take your twist to the left. Lift your chest, breathing in. Find that rotation, again, without forcing anything, looking toward the back shoulder. And see if you can find some ease and maybe even some sweetness in the body here. There's this word in Sanskrit, the word sukha. It kind of sounds like the Spanish word for sugar, right? Sucra. But it means ease or sweetness or spaciousness. And it's one of the qualities that we're looking for in all of the asanas. We're looking for that quality of spaciousness and sweetness. Come back to the center as you inhale, once more the arms are going to come up. And then we're going to take a side bend to the right. Bring your right hand down. Left arm comes up and over. And then go ahead and nod your chin from shoulder to shoulder slowly. If it feels good to stay on the right palm, you can. Otherwise, root down through the left sit bone and then maybe start to slide all the way down onto the right forearm. Same deal, nodding the chin slowly, and then ultimately letting the head just dangle. So a lot of the times in yoga, we're cued to look up at the top hand. See if you can find a little bit more release and ease by just letting the head dangle. Looking up oftentimes just brings a little bit more strain into the neck. Take another deep breath in, maybe accentuate the stretch, and then come back to the center on the exhale. Whew. Right arm comes up, breathe in. Take your side stretch to the left. Same little check-in with the neck. Go real slow. If you find anything interesting in the neck, you can stay there for a moment. Kind of see if you can cultivate that sweetness, that spaciousness, just through the mind-body connection and the breath. And then perhaps I know that it just feels way better to let my head and my neck dangle. Perhaps you walk down onto that left forearm, continuing to root the right thigh and sit bone down. Awesome. One more big breath in. Take it back through the center on the exhale. Let the eyelids close down as you bring your hands somewhere to your lap, palms up or palms down. Just notice what you feel in the shoulders, the arms, and the sides of the neck here. Welcoming any sensations into the body. Welcoming any awareness into your emotional or mental quality here. So there's not a specific goal that we're after, besides just this raw awareness. When you're ready, you can blink the eyes open. You're going to bring the right foot and leg out away from the body. I'm going to shift a little bit. So we're setting up in half butterfly. Left foot to the inside of the right leg. Square the chest over the right leg. Bring your hands to either side of that right leg. And then start to walk the hands little by little forward. You can even, I like to sometimes do a variation of this. Slide your hands underneath the right calf. Bend the right knee. And then bring your nose or your forehead to that knee. If that's not your jam, of course, do what makes sense. There's a million ways to do this pose, and there's one way that's just right for you. It's up to you to find that. Maybe that's the hip hinge, really keeping the spine long and the sternum forward. Maybe that's just bowing the chin to the chest. Experiment just for another moment. Find what's going to work best for you, and then see if you can settle into something that feels still. The other half of the equation, when we're talking about sukha, the sweetness, the softness, the ease, the spaciousness, we also want to match that quality with something called sthira, which is another Sanskrit word. And sthira, you can think of a steer like a bull. It means strength, it means steady. So we're looking for both of those, and they really do work together. So as you start to settle in, there's this quality of steadiness. And steadiness to the mind as you coach yourself to stay tuned into the breath. Easy does it as you walk the hands back toward the hips. And keep the left leg bent. Shift a little bit of the weight to the left. You can bring your hands all the way over to the left. And then bend the right knee so that the right knee comes to the inside of the left foot. Walk the hands in front of the left shin and start to melt forward in that direction. Again, there's not a specific way to do this pose. It's worth experimenting a little bit. Maybe you can come down, make a little pillow with your palms for your forehead. Maybe you stay up and just bow the chin to the chest. Notice what you feel in the outer legs and the lower back. Stay present in the breath as you press the mat away with your hands. Walk your hands back toward your body. Probably not the mat, probably you're somewhere off of the mat, yeah? Shift once more to the left so that you can bring the right leg in. We're gonna come into rock the baby. So left hand to right foot, right hand to right knee, and then just kind of rock it out a little bit here. Hi, Sasha. She's like, I'm the baby. Or you can interlace your fingers, kind of moving the foot and the knee into the crooks of the elbows, and rock the whole upper body. So I'm rocking really from one sit bone to the other. Try not to rock all the way over. This is the point where if you have a little bit of lotion or essential oil, you can grab that. We're going to do a little self-massage on the feet. The feet have all of these pressure points called marmor points. And if you've ever done acupuncture, is that the one with the needles? Yes, acupuncture or acupressure or reflexology. Or if you study the chakras at all, there's this theory of energy in the body. And it flows just like the vascular system or the lymph system or the nerves, right? They have these kind of channels where those nutrients flow through. And so when we're talking about the subtle body, the channels, a lot of them start and end in the feet. So you can catch hold of the right foot, release the right knee down. If you've never massaged your own feet before, welcome. It's kind of a treat. You're going to bring your thumbs into the ball of your foot and just press. So pretty firm pressure there. And then lift the thumbs, find another point in the ball of your foot and press. If you're familiar with massaging your feet, don't wait for my cues, just go for it. You're just gonna keep lifting and then pushing the thumbs down into different parts of the ball of your foot. Maybe you find a little hot spot and you might wanna roll it out a little bit. Maybe move right to the base of the toes. And then start to move your fingers, your thumbs down toward the instep. A little squishier here for me. And then keep moving all the way down toward the heel. Maybe even walk the thumb up like the Achilles kind of area, the back of the calf a little bit, especially if you do a lot of walking or running. There can be some tightness there. And then bring the thumbs toward the toes. You're still on the back of the foot. Push your fingers in toward the top of the foot through all of the tendons. So you're not hurting yourself, but there's a firm quality to the pressure. Unless it feels better to be really gentle. If I'm too gentle, I'm just going to end up tickling my feet. So find a pressure that feels really right to you. And then kind of go to town for another moment or so on this right foot. Let it be a dedication. So let this really be an act of self-care, especially if it's not coming naturally to you. Know that the effort around taking care of yourself is felt. It's felt on that energetic level, right? So there is this communication between you and your energy body here. And then we're gonna switch. So the right leg will come out long, setting up the half butterfly on this side, keeping in mind that it might feel a little bit different on the left and the right. Remember, we don't have that insistence on symmetry. Perhaps you hinge through the hips. Did we already do this side? We already did this side, huh? Bring the right foot in to the left. Switch it out. Left leg is long. There we go. That feels better. Square the chest. Same principles though. If it feels good to do the hip hinge and keep the spine long, awesome. If it feels better to find some flexion through the back of the neck or through the whole back. Or if you like that variation, lifting the calf, tucking your hands underneath and then resting your head on the knee. Lift the head, start to walk the hands back. Keep the right knee bent, shift to the right, bring the left knee to the inside of the right foot. Adjust how you need so that your sit bones feel stable and steady, and then start to fold forward. And just remembering to tune into your thoughts from that space where you're observing and witnessing. As if you notice those themes, those thought themes, or the emotional themes, or even the physical themes, right? If there's tension in the body somewhere and it keeps coming up, just inviting that awareness, right? And moving the awareness perhaps a little bit deeper. So being curious and available to another level of understanding, or at least a level of validation, right? There is a reason if you have discomfort or pain. There is a reason if we have themes to our emotions, right? If the same kind of mood or tone comes up, there's a reason if there's something heavy on your heart. Remembering this concept of self care means that every part of you is welcome, and that the authentic self has space for all of it and has the insight and the tools and the awareness that you need to take care of any and every part. Lift the chest, the head, walk the hands back. Shift the weight to the right again. So we're going to come into that rock the baby with the left shin this time. Remember, you can catch hold of the knee and the foot with the hands, or you can work the crooks of the elbows to the foot and the knee. Maybe interlace the fingers, or maybe you can't quite interlace. You can just go somewhere in between, rocking it out. So really almost kind of seeing if you can roll a little bit of the weight through the left sit bone. Just exploring the stretch. And then last little bit, we're going to massage through the left foot. So if you feel competent doing that, go for it. I'll give you a couple little pointers again. Cradling that foot. Again, the thumbs toward the ball of the foot or the base of the toes, pressing down. And see if you can move slow here. So if you've ever had a massage, they go a lot slower. Like a good massage therapist is going to move a lot slower for the most part. Taking your time with those little muscle fibers, and also really importantly on the feet, the fascia. So if you have any symptoms of plantar fasciitis, right, that inflammation of the fascia, the connective tissue on the sole of the foot, really beneficial to stimulate that, to break up some of that, those tougher, kind of gristly bits of that connective tissue. Keep walking your thumbs down, all the way down through the midfoot to the heel. Perhaps checking in with your ankle, the Achilles, the calf, and then also the top of the left foot. And then we just got one more stretch before Shavasana. When you're ready, you're going to work your way onto your belly. However you want to get there, let it be a mindful transition. So let the transition be yoga itself. As you roll onto the belly, working your way into Sphinx. So bringing the elbows underneath the shoulders, fingertips forward. Really gently feel the elbows energetically drag back a little bit and the chest and sternum lift. Reach the crown of the head away from the sternum without forcing anything. Just the hiccups, of course. Keep the legs relaxed if you can. Maybe even wiggle them out a bit. And then just bring some awareness into the lower back. I'm going to close my eyes down. You can keep the eyes open or closed, whatever is most comfortable. Concentrate your awareness into your lower back as you breathe. Knowing that it is fully within your power to cultivate both that sense of sukha, that sweetness and spaciousness, as well as sthira, that strength and steadiness. Any of you who feel like your range of motion is just not quite giving you much here, you can take it into seal for a few breaths. If you come up and it feels like it's too much, please give yourself permission to come back down. I like to grab the edges of my mat in seal, or in this case, the edges of my blanket, so that there's a little bit more kind of grip, so I can actually kind of pull instead of just push. Maybe give the head or the neck a little check-in. A couple more deep breaths. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. Lift your nose up as you breathe in. Keep the back bend if you can. Just gently bring your chin toward your chest. Long exhale. Do that 2 more times. You're still in the back bend. Inhaling your nose up. Exhaling the chin down. 1 more on your own, as slow as you can. And then once your chin is at your chest, start to lower all the way down to your belly. Make a little pillow with your palms stacked for your forehead. So your forehead's going to rest right down onto the palms. I'm not going to rest my head down because snake voice will get all muffled. But take a moment just to breathe and observe what you feel in your body. This global awareness of your physical body, as well as those internal layers, the energy body, the mind body, the emotional body. Couple more deep breaths here. See if you can inhale even slower. Breathe in to the count of 4, 3, 2, 1, and then exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, in for 4, 3, 2, 1, and out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Last time, breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Make your way onto your back or into whatever final resting shape you would like. So another great option, especially if you have low back pain, is to come into legs up the wall. If you have a wall that doesn't have a dog on it or a picture on it, you can take that. Otherwise, just roll out onto your back. I'm going to keep my feet down for a moment so that I can shimmy my shoulders underneath. If you have your essential oil nearby, you can put a little bit in your hands and then cup the hands over your mouth and your nose, not your eyes. You don't want to get it in your eyes, right? But take a couple deep breaths of that and let that start to be like associated for you with rest. Once your shoulders are down, once you've taken a breath in and out with that essential oil, that fragrance, start to extend one leg at a time away from the lumbar spine. Take a really deep cleansing breath here in through your nose and a nice open mouth exhale, letting your shoulders get a little bit heavier. I invite you to stay in your Shavasana for as long as you're able, as long as you like. It's really an honor to have you practice. I love this practice so much, and it is my joy to share it with others. When you're ready to close your practice, do so in a way that feels meaningful for you. So without rushing right back into whatever's next in your day, even just a couple of those really deep conscious cleansing breaths, it's a beautiful way to wrap it up and let everything settle into your body. Be well.